Level 1. Rotavirus. This little guy is basically the poop virus? Yeah, poop virus. Before that, we forgot to introduce you to Mike here. In the last video, his older brother, Rick, was the diver who went through all the deep sea creatures. He's pretty tired from the last video, so Mike has decided to help us. So it spreads when you touch nasty stuff. Not that nasty stuff. This nasty stuff. The virus is shaped like a literal wheel, which is ironic because it's going to take you for the ride of your life, but only 2 stations. The bedroom and the toilet. Here's the absolutely insane part. This thing infects 95% of kids on Earth by age 5, whether you live in a mansion or a slum. This virus laughs at alcohol-based sanitizers and can survive on surfaces for 2 months. It can even spread through the air like the Resident Evil virus, but you would be a zombie if it were the Resident Evil virus. That could be so much cooler. Would you like to be a zombie? Anyways, once this thing gets inside you, it destroys the cells in your small intestine, where your body absorbs water and nutrients. So basically, your intestines turn into a broken pipe where everything just flows right through. You'll be throwing up and pooping water like a straw with 2 ways open. You only need 1 virus particle to get infected. But infected kids shed 100 billion particles. Your immune system tries to fight it off, but these are very strong viruses. Here's the messed up part. In rich countries, kids get fluids pumped back into them, and they're fine. In poor countries, the same virus kills 1 kid every 70 seconds. Look at Mike in the corner. He's been stuck in the toilet for 24 hours. The probability of you dying from this is around 1% if you get proper treatment. Since Mike took care of himself and got enough fluids, he survives this one. Flu? Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Flu? Even Mike has had hundreds of flus throughout the years, like you get flus throughout, right? But even today, every single year it kills between 290,000 to 650,000 people worldwide. Back in 1918, 50 to 100 million people died. This little guy was a mini Thanos. That's like if everyone in California, Texas, and New York just vanished. You're walking around spreading this death machine for 1 to 2 days before you even know you're sick. This virus changes its genetic code constantly, so your immune system gets totally confused and can't recognize it anymore. Sometimes your own immune system goes full kamikaze mode and kills you instead of the virus. This thing can survive in frozen lakes for decades. And for the love of God, it's not Steve. Most people feel like they got hit by a garbage truck, but if you're really old, really young, or already sick, this harmless seasonal visitor can totally show you the exit door to life. So next time someone says it's just the flu, remind them that this microscopic assassin has a higher body count than most wars combined. The probability of you dying from the flu is about 0.1% if you're healthy, but it goes up to 5 to 10% if you're elderly or already sick. Since Mike received good treatment and listened to the doctor, he survived this round. Be like Mike, people. Mike is one of our subscribers. He's supporting our channel since day 1. If you want to support us like Mike, you should subscribe too, so you can get a chance to participate in our upcoming videos. Level 2. SARS. This thing killed about 10 out of every 100 people who caught it. It spreads through the air when sick people cough and sneeze, basically turning regular breathing into a prohibited activity. Nobody knew what the heck it was at first. People were just dropping dead with weird lung problems that doctors had never seen before. It started in China. Of course it did. Where else would a deadly virus spawn? And it spread to 26 different countries super fast. This virus drowns you in your own spit. Your lungs fill up with thick fluid and you can't breathe anymore. Just like trying to breathe underwater, but the water is inside your lungs. It came from bats originally. The probability of dying from SARS is about 10% if you catch it, but that jumps way higher if you're elderly or already sick. Mike got lucky with this one. He isolated himself quickly when he felt symptoms and got proper medical care. HIV. This virus is the ultimate slow-motion assassin like Uruguay. Without treatment, it has close to a 100% death rate. But here's the twist. It can take 8 to 10 years to actually kill you. It's like having a ticking time bomb inside you that you can't hear. You catch it through blood, unprotected sex, sharing needles, or from mother to baby during birth. It destroys your immune system from the inside, turning your body's own defense force into useless security guards. Once your immune system is completely wrecked, any random infection that wouldn't normally bother you becomes a death sentence. A simple cold can put you in the hospital. The virus hides inside your immune cells like a Trojan horse and slowly multiplies until your body can't fight off anything anymore. You develop AIDS when your immune system is basically non-existent. Before modern medicines, getting HIV was essentially a delayed death sentence. With today's antiretroviral drugs, people with HIV can live completely normal lives. The virus becomes undetectable, which means you can't even spread it to others. Mike definitely learned about safe practices after this one and got tested regularly. The probability of dying from HIV today is almost 0 if you get proper treatment, but without treatment, it's nearly 100% fatal. Level 3, Lassa fever or rat pea fever. This West African nightmare infects about 300,000 people every year and kills approximately 5,000 of them. You catch it when rat pee and poop gets into your food and water. water. Absolutely disgusting. About 80 out of 100 people don't even know they have it, but the unlucky other 20 get really messed up. Among the people who end up in hospitals fighting for their lives, about 15 die horribly. It starts like a normal fever, then gets weird and terrifying super fast. You start bleeding from your mouth, nose, and other places. If you really don't want blood coming out of your body, then this thing literally opens every hole like taps of your body. Your organs start shutting down one by one. About 25 out of 100 people who actually survive go completely deaf. The probability of dying from Lassa fever is about 15% if you're hospitalized, but much lower if you have mild symptoms. Mike avoided this one by being extremely careful about food hygiene and staying away from areas with poor sanitation. Hepatitis B. About 2 billion people have caught this thing. Most grown-ups can eventually kick it out of their bodies, but if babies catch it, they're basically screwed for life. It stays forever and slowly turns their liver into dried up beef jerky over many years. This sneaky bastard makes you feel totally fine and normal, while it's quietly destroying your insides. You're walking around thinking you're healthy, but this thing is playing the long game like Andrew Tate, except you'll be dead before you see any results. After some time, your liver just gives up and stops working. This thing is 50 times more infectious than HIV and can survive on surfaces for a week. Without the right medicines, about 15 to 25 out of every 100 people with the permanent version of this disease will die. More people die from this than malaria, TB, and HIV combined, but nobody talks about it. It spreads through blood and other gross body fluids, so don't share needles with anyone and always be safe when you're older. The probability of dying from chronic hepatitis B is about 15 to 25% without treatment. Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever. This virus has the longest, most terrifying name in the business. You catch this nightmare from tick bites, which means every time you go hiking or camping, you're playing Russian roulette. It spreads across a huge chunk of the world, from the Balkans through the Middle East to Asia and Africa. Basically, if you see a tick anywhere in these regions and you're bitten, you won't be tick man, you'll be dead man. You can also catch it from touching infected animal blood, so butchers and farmers are constantly at risk. The virus starts like a bad flu, fever, headaches, muscle pain. Then around day 3 or 4, the real horror show begins. You start bleeding from everywhere, your nose, mouth, gums, and under your skin. Your liver and kidneys start shutting down like they're giving up on life. Some people bleed so much internally that they go into shock. There's no specific cure. Doctors just try to keep you alive with supportive care and hope your body can fight it off. The probability of you dying from this ranges from 10 to 40% depending on how quickly you get medical help. Level 4. Yellow fever. This thing started killing people way before anyone even knew what viruses were. It literally turns you bright yellow like a Simpsons character, except you're dying. Your liver completely breaks down like a busted engine and all that yellow bile backs up throughout your entire body. Up to 60,000 people die from this every single year, mostly in Africa and South America where the killer mosquitoes live. I hate mosquitoes. Wish I could punch them like Saitama. Between 20 and 60 out of every 100 people who get really sick will die painfully. The first few days just feel like regular flu, then your organs start shutting down one by one. You start bleeding internally and turn into a human highlighter. Scientists made a vaccine for this back in 1937. That's 87 years ago. But tons of people in poor countries still can't get it. So people are still dying from something that's been preventable for nearly a century. The probability of dying from yellow fever is about 20 to 50% if you get severely ill. Poor Mike wasn't vaccinated and got bitten by an infected mosquito during the trip. He turned yellow and his liver shut down. Mike didn't make it through this one. Yellow fever got him. MERS. Mike respawned and found himself in the Middle East, but this thing sounds like something you heard from a zombie movie, and honestly it might as well be. About 35 out of every 100 people who catch this will die. It originally came from bats. Wow, why am I not surprised? But what is surprising is it's not from China. First, it decided to camp in camels. Most cases happened in Saudi Arabia around 2012, and everyone freaked out. You catch it by getting too close to sick people or infected animals. It does the exact same thing as SARS, but way worse. It fills your lungs with thick, disgusting fluid so you can't breathe, and completely destroys your kidneys too. Most people who died were old folks or people already sick with other stuff, but plenty of healthy people died too. The only reason we're not all dead right now is that it doesn't spread super easily between people. The probability of dying from MERS is about 35% overall, but higher if you're older or sick. Mike got too close to infected camels in the Middle East. His lungs filled with fluid and his kidneys failed. MERS took him down again, but when we respawn, he goes to level 5, and there it will gruesome. Level 5. Nipah virus. But this thing sounds like something a mad scientist cooked up in a basement lab. It kills between 40 and 75 out of every 100 people who catch it. That's like Russian roulette with most of the chambers loaded. It comes from bats again because apparently these flying rats are really committed to ending the human race. But here's the twisted part. It doesn't go straight to humans. First it infects pigs and fruit bats, then jumps to people who get too close. You can catch this nightmare by drinking raw palm wine that bats have contaminated, eating fruit that bats nibbled on, or getting too close to infected pigs. It started causing outbreaks in Malaysia and Singapore in the late 1990s, and now it pops up regularly in Bangladesh and India. The virus attacks your brain and lungs at the same time, like it can't decide which way it wants to kill you faster. At first you just feel sick with fever and headaches, then your brain starts swelling up. You get confused, start having seizures, and slip into a coma. Some people who survive end up with permanent brain damage. There's no vaccine and no specific treatment. Doctors can only try to keep you alive and hope your body fights it off. The probability of you dying from Nipah is around 50 to 75%, depending on the outbreak. Ebola might respawn in West Africa, but the absolute king of scary viruses was waiting. This terrifying monster kills between 25 and 90 out of every 100 people who catch it, depending on which outbreak we're talking about. You catch it from sick people's blood, vomit, diarrhea, and even their sweat. It starts with a totally normal fever and headache, feels like regular flu. Then around day 5 or 7, you start bleeding from everywhere. Your eyes, nose, mouth, ears, even your skin starts crying actual blood. This virus basically melts all your blood vessels and you slowly turn into human soup. Your organs become liquid mush and you die in unimaginable pain. The 2014 outbreak in West Africa killed over 11,000 people in just a few months. The probability of dying from Ebola is about 50% on average. Marburg virus. Mike respawned only to meet Ebola's psycho-evil twin brother, who went to advanced murder school and graduated at the top of his class. This absolute monster can kill up to 88 out of every 100 people infected. You also get it from bats. These flying rat mice are on a secret mission to completely wipe us out. The symptoms are exactly identical to Ebola. You bleed to death from every hole in your body while your insides turn to liquid jelly. It first showed up in Germany back in 1967. When lab workers got infected from sick monkeys imported from Uganda. Recent outbreaks in Africa have been absolutely devastating. If Ebola is a horror movie, Marburg is the unrated director's cut. The probability of dying from Marburg is around 80 to 88%. Mike was exposed to infected monkeys and contracted this deadly virus. The hemorrhagic fever progressed rapidly, causing massive internal bleeding and organ failure. Marburg proved even more lethal than its cousin. Rabies Mike respawned one final time to face the ultimate final boss and absolute undisputed champion of killing people. Once you start showing symptoms from this monster, it has a 99.9% death rate. Only about 14 people in all of human history have ever survived after showing symptoms. You catch it when infected animals bite you. The virus slowly crawls from the bite wound all the way up to your brain through your nerves, like a microscopic zombie army marching through your body. You become absolutely terrified of water, and even looking at a glass of water makes you panic. Your brain gets totally hijacked, and you go completely nuts before dying. This virus literally controls your behavior to make you want to bite other people. It's the ultimate biological mind control weapon that turns you into a biting zombie, then kills you. The probability of dying from rabies is 99.9% once symptoms start. We've just walked through humanity's deadliest microscopic enemies with Mike, viruses that kill without mercy. Behind every statistic is someone's life lost too soon. Thanks to Mike for this incredible journey, but he can't make it to the next video. And honestly, you can't blame him after everything he went through. The good news? Rick is coming back for our next episode. These deadly viruses don't discriminate, so stay safe, get vaccinated, and wash your hands and subscribe, folks.